Nature in Your Home and Other Papers by John Burroughs. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. To learn more or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Nature in Your Home and Other Papers by John Burroughs. Section 7. An Interesting Plant. In our walks we note the most showy and beautiful flowers, but not always the most interesting. Who, for instance, pauses to consider that early species of everlasting, called in the botany Antennaria, that grows nearly everywhere by the roadside and about poor fields? It begins to be noticeable in May, its whitish downy appearance, its groups of slender stalks crowned with a corymb of paper-like buds, contrasting with the fresh green of surrounding grass or weeds. It is a member of a very large family, the Compositae, and does not attract one by its beauty, but it is interesting because of its many curious traits and habits. For instance, it is dioecious, that is, the two sexes are represented by separate plants, and what is more curious, these plants are usually found separated from each other in well-defined groups, like the men and women in an old-fashioned country church. Always in groups, here a group of females, there a few yards away a group of males. The females may be known by their more slender and graceful appearance, and, as the season advances, by their outstripping the males in growth. Indeed, they become real Amazons in comparison with their brothers. The staminate, or male plants, grow but a few inches high. The heads are round, and have a more dusky or freckled appearance than do the pistillate, and as soon as they have shed their pollen their work is done. They are of no further use, and by the middle of May or before their heads droop, their stalks wither, and their general collapse sets in. Then the other sex, or pistillate plants, seem to have taken a new lease of life. They wax strong, they shoot up with the growing grass and keep their heads above it. They are alert and active, they bend in the breeze, their long tapering flower heads take on a tinge of color, and life seems full of purpose and enjoyment with them. I have discovered, too, that they are real sun worshippers, that they turn their faces to the east in the morning, and follow the sun in his course across the sky till they all bend to the west at his going down. On the other hand, their brothers have stood stiff and stupid and unresponsive to any influence of sky or air, so far as I could see, till they drooped and died. Another curious thing is that the females seem vastly more numerous, I should say almost 10 times as abundant. You have to hunt for the males, the others you see afar off. In my usual 5-minute morning walk to the post office, I pass several groups or circles of females in the grass by the roadside. I note how they grow and turn their faces sunward. I observe how alert and vigorous they are, and what a purplish tinge comes over their mamey-shaped flower heads as June approaches. I looked for the males. To the east, west, south, none could be found for hundreds of yards. On the north, about 200 feet away, I found a small colony of meek and lonely males. I wondered by what agency fertilization would take place, by insects or by the wind. I suspected it would not take place. No insects seemed to visit the flowers, and the wind surely could not be relied upon to hit the mark so far off, and from such an unlikely corner, too. But by some means the vitalizing dust seemed to have been conveyed. Early in June the plants began to shed their down, or seed-bearing pappus, still carrying their heads at the top of the grass, so that the breezes could have free access to them and sow the seeds far and wide. As the seeds are sown broadcast by the wind, I was at first puzzled to know how the two sexes were kept separate, and always in little communities, till I perceived what I might have read in the botany, that the plant is perennial and spreads by offsets and runners like the strawberry. This would, of course, keep the two kinds in groups by themselves. End of Section 7. Recorded by Edith Fern, Southern California, February 4th, 2009.